Thanks so much for talking to us today. Just a little introduction, who you are and how this has impacted on you and your family.
Well, my name's Roisin Gallagher and I'm married to Sean and I have 2 kids. This is Julia and Blake, and they're the reason that I'm even talking to you today. So basically we discovered that we had cracks maybe, we started noticing them in 2011, 2012. So fast forward, we completely buried our heads in the sand. We didn't want to know, and then we were ashamed because we thought we were the only people, and we didn't talk about it with our neighbours because ours started to become more evident quicker than our neighbours because we were exposed, I think, more exposed, our gable wall. So we were very alone for a long time, and then when we realised that we had MICA, we registered with MAG in about 2017, but we still kept really quiet and we didn't talk about it because a lot of our neighbours did not know that they had it. So if I had come out and campaigned like I am at the minute, I would have devalued their homes and we maybe would never have spoken, or we just didn't know. We were so afraid, so ashamed, and we just didn't speak about it. I didn't even go to the meetings when MAG were having meetings or anything years ago, because I just didn't want to upset my neighbours either, and upset my community. And it was just a really strange, isolating experience.
We're just talking off camera there. The past 2 years particularly have been very difficult on you.
Yeah, the last 2 years it seems that something happened and it hasn't gotten any better. So it's been one thing after another. Between my father, he had a massive heart attack and died suddenly. And then after that it was work trouble and COVID, and then MICA really kicked in when Paddy got everybody going, and it just seems to have been one stress after another. Of course the stress with MICA is extreme to a level where we've never experienced before. The closer it gets to an announcement of what they're going to decide to do for us, the more anxious I'm getting, the more worried I am about myself, my husband, my children, our future, our community, how we're going to survive if we don't get 100%, because if we don't, our entire community, or our neighbourhoods, the very atmosphere of our county of Inishowen, it changes forever. For decades, for generations to come, it's never going to be the same again. We're going to be living in poverty. There's just so much that, I mean, we can't even get a loan. So we have to live in a house that's crumbling down. The bank have told me that I am not in a position to get any money. So what do we do if we don't get 100%?
The foundations of this house. There's a little story there.
There is.
Go into some positivity, which is probably the reason why you're still going.
It is absolutely. I bought this house from the plans. We're in a development, and I picked the site with the developer, and so I was there from the founds going in. And my father, like in good old Irish tradition, he put a few holy medals into the foundations. But he was so proud of me, because I did actually buy the house on my own when I was 25. So it was 4 years before I met my husband. So it was really hard. I basically only slept here, and that was kind of it, because I had a few jobs to make the mortgage repayments. But I knew that eventually I would fill it with a family, and I did. I was so lucky that I met Sean 4 years later, and then we had Julia and Blake. But my father was with me for so many hard times when I couldn't make the mortgage payments. He was there to help me. He was there to encourage me, because he knew I didn't have anybody else, and I was like in my mid-20s. I was actually trying to put myself through university down in Galway for a year of that time, and I rented the property out to become trained as an English teacher. So it was all really difficult. Now I say that my father helped me, but I did actually do all that myself, financially, and if I was really stuck, he would definitely help me out with a wee 20 if I needed a bit of help. But he was my emotional support and my mother and my sisters and brothers, everybody really helped. But then as time went on, I mean, I didn't have any spare money. The mortgage was so super high back then. That was 16 years ago. But I made it pretty and I made it mine, and I was really proud of myself. So whenever me and my father, we both stood out, that was before I met my husband, I would say that I noticed cracks, or shortly around, maybe around the time that I met him. So me and my father, he would have had a background in building, and he would have known what he was talking about, and we would have both analysed the house every few months, every 6 months, every year, and we were looking at these cracks and noticing that they were coming, but we never for a minute thought it would be MICA. And my father initially said settling cracks, but as the time went on, he couldn't. They weren't they weren't settling cracks. So I think if he could see what Paddy Diver has done for us and what we are all doing for ourselves, I have to say that I think it's partly my father, like, working through me, and the reason why I've become so proactive and trying to help us get 100%. So I think he'd be so proud, he'd be delighted that Paddy Diver was here in my house, and he would be so proud of everything that everybody's doing. And he was like that, you know, he was very proud of people when they worked hard and they did what they should do, good people, you know.
Yeah.
So that's that wee story.
The 90-10 that was put on the table, which is not what you're going for now, would never work for you. You've spoken about the finances and the build, and also that must have taken a toll on you.
Absolutely, and it still is, because the fear, as I was saying, I think the closer it comes to an announcement, the more afraid we are of what the outcome is going to be for our future. We don't have any way to get the funds to build this house with the 90%. The 90% that they are offering at the moment it basically covers the walls being rebuilt and basics, like a basic flooring, basic painting, and I think that's about it. My kitchen is an MDF kitchen. It's not a solid wood kitchen. I have to rip that out after 16 years, and I have to put that back in, that same one. Is that going to work? Then the expense of a new kitchen, as far as I understand, is down to me. So we were trying to get a ballpark figure of what the cost might be for us, and I think we're looking at about 70 to 90,000 just to get back into the house, not to have it, you know, all the 16 years that we've spent doing it up or fixing it up, you know, that it won't be like that when we get back in after spending 70 or 90,000. But as I said, I've spoken to the bank twice at length, the representatives of Bank of Ireland and Cairn and in Letterkenny, and they've both told me that I won't get any money from them because of the situation that we're in. I am a teacher, but I'm an unemployed teacher, so I'm 15 years working as a teacher. I did take a few years off to start my family, but I have been teaching since 2006, and because of the situation, I mean, you get contracts but they're very temporary, so I'm not permanent. I'm currently on the dole and awaiting the first phone call for subbing. So my husband works in a factory locally, and we're just not able to fix this house, even with the 90%. You know, it sounds like a good offer, but when you tease it out, it's impossible for most people. And we're just ordinary, good people, hard-working people. We're honest people. We are really crushed that we are even having to beg for what was already ours. And the main thing of all of this is that my Julia and Blake's future is being ripped away from them and stolen from them completely. So that is why I decided to really try my best to do what I could to get what we need. So what I mean by that is Julia and Blake, this is the only thing that we have to give them. And I mean, a bar winning the lottery, which is very slim chance, this is all we have to leave them. And if we don't get the 100%, what are we going to leave them? We'll be lucky if we'll be able to be here before they go to college. We won't be able to be here before they go to college, so where will we live? So we're going to walk away from their crumbling, from their wreck of a home, and we're left with nothing. We're facing a future of complete poverty. So that's there's so much grief that we're dealing with, the grief of the loss of your future, the grief of the loss of your children's future. We're not looking for a luxury lifestyle. We're just looking to live the life that we worked for and that we had and that we thought we would always have. This is ours. We already had it. It was taken from us. We shouldn't have to beg for it back. So that's what I...
That's brilliant. People talk about bricks, mortar, foundations, cement. But it really isn't about that with this, really.
Yeah, a few people have actually said that to me because I am getting a bit stressed out from time to time, and I do kind of push myself a bit more. And I mean, my husband and my children maybe I've missed a few bedtimes and I've missed a few dinners, and you know, I'm not the mommy and the housewife that I would have been, but it's for a reason. This is not just bricks and mortar. This is our whole lives, and I don't think some people understand that. I mean, if you think about what you worked for, yes, there are worse things, and we are all healthy, and we're so grateful for that. I'm a big believer in gratitude, and I practice it every day. I really do believe that you have to enjoy life, and you have to be happy with what you have. But yes, we're healthy, but if we don't have a home, that is a fundamental thing in society, is to have a home and to have somewhere safe, which we don't have somewhere safe to rear our children. You have to have somewhere that is warm, and in the near future we're going to have to deal with wind and rain coming into our homes. We're not far behind some other people at different stages of deterioration, and that is our reality, you know.
If you got the 100% news that it's through, which the government have recently discussed and said we're pushing for this to be resolved, what would you do?
Well, lots of people are talking about the other problems that come after we get 100%, but they don't matter. We will figure that out when that comes, and we won't be doing it with this extreme stress that's on top of all of us right now. The 100% means that we don't have to face the life of poverty. It means the stress, the immense pressure of the financial stress of all of this is gone. And once that's gone, you can deal with everything else. The rest of it is buttons compared to what we're going through right now. And without the 100%, or with the 100%, that means that we're cancelling out all that stress, and life is going to be so different. But I can't help, I think at the minute, the way I am and my frame of mind, I'm a very positive person naturally, and I do like to make other people feel more positive about things, and I do encourage people and try to help people, pull people up. But I can't help thinking about not getting 100% right now. I think I'm so anxious about it, and it's such a strain.